welcome to Liquid Lunch on a Thursday. It's me, Hugh, and Lalo is my co-host today.
Hi, everybody.
Right, and we're going to change the topic now because we got Lisa Cripps joining us, artist Lisa Cripps, and I guess we should call you a gallerist now as well.
I suppose that could be a term, or just the crazy artist who's curating for a gallery.
Yeah.
Yeah, curator.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's settle into this interview. Let's try to have as much fun as we were having just before we came on. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, we just have to get Layla to turn around and jump around with what she said earlier.
I can't remember a thing. I want to talk about art, though.
Yeah, let's talk about art. So, so you're having you're having an event coming up, an art event. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. studio-c-at-the-junction.ca. We handle 16 Canadian artists at present, and we decided, even though we're an online gallery, we wanted to be able to show their work. It's important to have the artwork exposed, especially Canadian artists these days are not being noticed enough. They're being pretty much treated like they're nothing, and that's not what we want to do. So we decided, let's do a show, and luckily enough, Tony Louie at Grossman's offered his venue for us to do a show. So we decided to put artwork, a silent auction, and afterwards there's going to be some Dixieland jazz playing.
Wonderful.
So that's why we called it Eyes and Ears at Grossman's.
I've never heard Dixieland jazz at Grossman's. They've always got, rock bands or something like that.
Every
Dixieland's
Saturday
super
afternoon
fun.
they have it.
Do they really?
Yeah, every Saturday between 4:30 and 8.
Dixieland's fun. It makes you feel like you're at an old-fashioned parade. At least that's what happens when I hear Dixieland. It makes me think of the parade and the whole...
Well, it's a real New Orleans vibe.
Exactly.
Right?
That is what I was about to say.
Which is what the whole Kensington Market actually has, which you haven't even experienced
Well,
yet.
I'm going to go to Kensington Market.
Oh, yeah, you're coming to the show on Saturday, aren't you? So you'll see it.
Because Grossman's is right across the street
Yep.
from the Kensington Market.
Excellent.
Exactly.
Well, I want to see that. And I'm really happy that people like you are actually taking it upon themselves to do something about the situation. I know you just said a very broad and negative kind of a statement about the way that artists are treated in Canada. And I think this is what I'm interested in, because that channel is looking for ways to support artists and musicians and actors and people in the arts, because wouldn't you? I thought you were the one that was going to be saying all the ums, but it looks like it's me, Lisa.
That's okay.
I wanted to ask you, what is it that keeps you going? Because you're an artist and a curator, and is it your sense of justice almost that as to what's going on with artists in Canada or just generally?
I would say that I've always been an artist, and I've always had the passion in me, but I'm also a businesswoman. And from doing past shows at different galleries, I found that most of the time the gallerists or curators tended not to promote the artist that much. It was more for the gallery and not the artist. Therefore, I wanted to do something a little different. First it is an online gallery, and then it will become a bricks and mortar in time. But the goal right now is, let's get these artists exposed. Let's let the world see how great we are. I think that's important because I know in another interview we did with Hugh, we discussed different areas of, for example, Canada, there's different types of artwork. In this big city, there would be more urbanization pieces or modern pieces. In different areas, like outside of Ottawa, you'd find more something, for example, like the landscapes. Vancouver, you find a lot of landscapes. And so let's let people see this. There's a point where we know about the group of 11. We know about the top names. But there's so many wonderful artists of all different levels, and that's what we want to show.
How does your website really help artists?
The website is just to show the work, but it's more so the matter of me putting out on the social media, doing things. The art show attachment is a little different than a typical online gallery would do. Online galleries don't do art shows usually.
Right, so we're going to look at, and you know, we should do a thing here because we got the walls and all that stuff too. I just want to ask you though, I mean, one of the comments that I've heard about Canada, in terms of the artists, we got a lot of great artists, of course, right? But one of the problems that I've heard is that the public has not caught up, like for example, it just doesn't appreciate art like they do, say, in Europe.
Correct.
Right, so people are buying their paintings at like IKEA or Walmart rather than going to a gallery, getting some original art, supporting artists. But also, the great thing about original art is, like, it's an asset. That it's like that it can appreciate in value. That you can, it's a collection. It's like a real pastime to get in to collect art.
You're absolutely right, and I have seen that. Unfortunately, I've even seen it in some of families' homes where they get the prints and they get it framed. So they're spending, let's say, about $250 for a print. And my viewpoint is, why would you spend $250 on a mass market produced print when you could turn around and buy a beautiful painting from an emerging artist or something like that who's trying to build their career
for the same
and
amount.
You'd find the beauty of it because you'd see the brush strokes, you'd see the passion rather than just a flat piece of paper.
Well, let's talk about that, okay? Because I think the reason maybe that in Europe or even in other countries and other places, I mean, Canada's a really new country, right? Really, comparatively.
Yep.
And I don't think that we have taught our children and our students the real value of art. Now, people can see that you're sitting in front of some beautiful art that we have that has actually come from the Norman Felix Gallery, and I want to thank Erin for doing that and bringing that here. And I'm working here, and of course, every single day, I am receiving the light, I'm receiving the positive vibrations or emotional cues that come from all the varying colors. It's I think it expands your mind in different ways, and I don't think that we really take that in. I think we actually see art as having no value.
Exactly.
More often than we can, because we don't really, and I think this is just experience. I think people just really need to take the plunge and go get a real piece of art and see what happens.
Very true. And the other side, too, is most people that do purchase prints, getting back to that stage, they don't realize how long it takes for an artist to even do a painting. For example, you look at some of the work on our site, we have one artist that has a beautiful painting that's in our exhibition called Puberty. It's a piece where this little girl is showing with tears down her cheeks. It's about, it's a huge piece in
I think
person.
we're going to try to maybe bring it up here, but keep talking
and
about
what
it.
it is it's an oil painting, and this young artist did this. And I'm sure that took him probably months to do. You know, the work involved with that piece, the realism of it, it is just beautiful. And a lot of the time people look at just, it probably took about 20 minutes or so to do.
Wonderful.
But as you can see, it's a beautiful piece.
Yes, it is. And again, it's like craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Again, you know, like we're used to this mass-produced stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, think about 100 years ago when a craftsman made your furniture or whatever, and when you go into a place that has antiques, like I have people in my family, there's definitely that human feeling and vibration of that, how that happened, and there it is in your home. And I think that's what you're talking about, the difference between having a print and actually having that.
Exactly. All the work we've got, I know all our artists have spent hours on the work, and I know the patience, the time, being an artist myself, I suffer every time I'm painting something and I say, it's not good enough, and I keep on changing things. I'm stubborn as a mule when it comes to that, and I know all my artists are the same. Like if you look at some of the pieces, I don't know what page is up, but if the exhibition piece is out, we've got Leah Lando, Kirk Sutherland, Sandra Dovashubs. We have Edgar Saul. We have, oh goodness, give me a second, Branislav Dordovic. We have, let me just go
and
through
anyone
this.
that she has missed,
Tanya
you can
Solonik.
go to your
Yes.
website and you can find all of those.
And we're looking at some right
Hillary
now.
Dunn. We've got Marika and Paul Kellingham. There's just so many of them.
I
And
think this is
also
great. And
Wabi
so-
McGill, who's a native artist.
Okay.
Who's just as a guest artist on our show and our site this time. But look at the work there. It just pulls out the passion. Every piece has passion. Juliana has on one of her pieces, which is called I think it's Son to Father. Or Father to Son. I can't, Juliana, please forgive me for this one, but I'm not reading it. But it's a beautiful, beautiful piece, and it shows a gentleman out by the sun, and there's like the water, and it has it's not on that one, but it's got, it's on the main exhibitions pieces.
Yeah. Again, people
And
can
it's
go to
just
the
beautiful.
website.
Yeah.
But all the work, it makes me speechless. Really, it does. I can't explain it. It's just every time I see it, that sometimes it's joy, sometimes it's the feeling that they got out of it just comes out. And I get so excited about it, I forget names and everything else.
Yeah.
So please, again, I apologize for that.
You know, I just want to comment what you guys were just talking about with the, and especially about the original art. It's because people now, just because technology is changing always, right, and we're moving into a new technological age, but people are talking about that in the future there will not be mass-produced anything. Won't be mass-produced cars, mass-produced everything will be one of a kind in the future.
With the 3D imaging
With the 3D
systems?
stuff, or even just the fact that we're really going to get away from large companies, and because we will be able to be as efficient at making the stuff we need, like on an individual level, like cottage industry, small business manufacturing. So it only makes sense that the idea of having a reproduction hanging on your wall is just not going to make sense.
No, then why bother having a reproduction when there's so many original pieces out there and available? There's so many different levels of costs, valuations, and it makes no sense. You know, art is one thing. Having a car, okay, we all want to have a car, but if I could have my own car designed in my own colors of what I wanted, sure, I'd do it. But say I'd get bored, I want to do another one in the next few years. It's like painting your walls in your house. Every few years, somebody gets bored of the wall color, or their couch color, or their drapes, for example. But with art, if you have all different colors in the artwork, it blends in with everything you're going to do. So it doesn't have to match your house, but it's all a different feeling and perspective. So I remember my dad used to always have prints in his office, and of course they were Claude Monet, numbered prints. My father loves Monet. And they're beautiful, but wouldn't it have been nice to have an original type of work in the same type of genre where you could touch it and it was not under glass, for example, or plastic or acrylic?
Well, really, what we're really talking about is giving everybody the opportunity to get an original of the next Monet or the next great Canadian artist, right?
Yeah, it is.
It really is an opportunity to, who knows? You could be buying a painting that's going to be worth like $2 million
You never
by the
know.
time you retire, right?
But why should you buy a piece just for that reason? You could buy a piece because you want to, because it's beautiful. And you know there's two sides of everything.
There are?
There's about valuation, but there's also about the beauty, the love, supporting your artist, too.
Yeah. But it is kind of interesting that when after you love the painting, it has a tiny bit of a lottery ticket aspect to
Why
it,
not?
right?
Oh, yeah. No, that is
It
great,
works.
actually.
That will work, but there's so much to it. It's just, you know how you sit there and you think, here's one thing I've noticed about artists these days. I've gone to these little shows and the emerging artist shows. So somebody's done a beautiful painting and they think, oh, I'm valued at $50 for a painting. It's a painting that's a good 30 by 40, but they spent probably about 40 hours on the piece, okay? That doesn't even cover the cost of the canvas.
Yeah.
Now, if you went to your doctor, or a doctor that you didn't know, and he said, I'll charge you $5, say we weren't under the OHIP system, for my medical experience, versus a doctor who is going for $100 who has, who would you see? The one that says, oh, I just want to have a patient, or the one that is actually giving themselves respect?
Yeah.
A lot of the artists are so afraid to respect themselves, they devalue their own work.
Well, I think that's because our society does.
You mean by lowering their prices? Is that what you mean by
bargain sales? They sell them worse, like a McDonald's would get a burger when
Yeah,
they're.
that's why
I've
you
seen
need
it over and over again. I know,
And that's why you need someone who's going to stand up for them.
Yeah,
and
because
we have to bring out what the value is of art. Like, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
It's insulting.
There's the emotional part and the inspiration that does, and then there's also healing. People heal with colors and with art.
Yeah.
So I don't know if people are queuing into that. When you brought up the doctor, it just made me think of that too.
But it's seriously, they sit there and because others are devaluing, they're devaluing themselves. They're putting their work as if it's not worth anything. And to devalue your self-worth is not a good thing. We all should be proud of what we do in our work and our art. We spend time, so why can't we actually be treated like other people that work hard?
Lisa, I want to ask you, because sometimes I wonder about what it takes to be a great artist, and why. Because just because I've hung out with artists that sell paintings for a lot of money, right? And I'm going, so what makes this artist? And I don't have a degree in art history, so like I can't bring that to it. But I go, what makes this artist's painting worth $30,000 versus this piece that looks very similar? Probably as much work went into it, but nobody wants to buy that one.
Promotion.
That's it? Just promotion?
Promotion, marketing.
There's no intrinsic value to that better artist?
Nope. Promotion.
But that's important, right? Because I mean, that's true for everything.
I think there's another ingredient here, if I may. I think it is going back to what you just said, and that is the artist respects themselves to the point where saying, "I am worth $30,000."
They respect themselves too, but it's also promotion involved.
Yeah, but they take themselves seriously.
Yep, and they don't treat themselves like they're a bargain basement artist.
Yeah.
And that is really something that the artists have to stop doing.
And especially if they're working with a gallery, right?
Especially
you don't want
with
the
a
gallery to be representing the artist, selling the paintings for whatever, and then the artist is chucking them out the back door at bargain basement prices, kind of undercutting the gallery that's actually trying to establish their value.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a whole other
actually,
thing.
they're not undercutting the gallery if they do that. They're undercutting themselves, because in the end, say somebody buys your work for $1,000. You did a painting, and they bought it for $1,000. Same type of painting, you do another one, the same size, same time you spent, same everything. Maybe it's a different look to the piece. And you sell it to somebody for $100. What are you doing to the person who bought the work originally?
Yeah.
You're devaluing that piece to them too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're actually, in the end, devaluing yourself by doing it. You're not hurting the gallery, you're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
And as an artist, you have to be proud of yourself. Everyone of the artists I know are so spectacular.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm bad this way too, because I have a tendency, I have a big heart, and I've been known to give things away too.
Yeah.
But I'm learning also in all these years that I have to value myself too, and my work. And if I don't believe in what I'm painting, and I think it's worthless, then why am I bothering painting if I don't believe in it? I put my heart and soul into a piece, right? Every little piece of that painting is me. So if I'm going to treat myself like it's garbage, I'm doing the same for my work.
But again, like how many parents in our country say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they're certainly not expecting artist. And if somebody says artist, what kind of reaction do they get? I mean, it's easy to see why they're devalued, and I guess that's where we come in, right?
I grew up myself actually wanting to be a doctor. I even found the other day an old news article written about me from my grade 8 graduation where I've done nothing of what I said I was going to be or do. I ended up owning a transfer agency in the financial markets and was there for 23 to 25 years while painting. Not the doctor, not the other
you can
part.
change your mind. Maybe you just changed your mind.
Can't stand the sight of blood if you really want
see,
the truth.
So you change your mind. So
We are
that's
going
just
to
fine.
talk about investments later, actually.
Are we?
Yeah.
Not on here, though.
No.
Not on this one.
We're talking about investing in art.
Well, that's
It's a good investment.
actually
It's a
something.
great investment.
Can people start to do this weekend, right? So, Lisa, let's talk about the show a little bit. It's, what is it, Saturday?
It's Saturday. It will start at 12 noon,
Okay.
and it goes till 3:30. We have a silent auction that will start at noon and go until 2. This gives us time to wrap up before the music starts at 4:30 as well, and people to look at the other exhibits. That way it's not all crammed and rushed. Now, it's very difficult to do a pop-up show, especially where you have 2 hours to set everything up and then things have to go down.
Wow.
So I've been planning this for a month with our artists, and I have some help in there, thank goodness. 2 of the artists, Kirk Sutherland and Joe Flasco, which I didn't mention earlier, sorry gentlemen, but they are actually going to be coming in earlier to help with setup.
Excellent.
I have Juliana who's going to come and help, and quite a few of them have offered actually to help me. It's, as the way that everyone seems to be putting it is, we help each other. We are a group of artists helping each other.
Excellent.
The gallery and the artists are a team, and that is the right way to think about it.
What's the date on Saturday for
The
people to
4th.
come? The June 4th, and then what's the location again?
It's Grossman's Tavern. It's right off of Spadina and Cecil Street, which would be between College and Dundas Street.
Yeah.
Excellent, close by.
On the east
I'm
side.
going.
Yeah, 10-minute walk from
I'll
here.
see you there.
Oh, you'll love it. The environment is such a rich history of music and jazz, and they used to have actually in the 60s and 70s, the OCA artists and students used to go into Grossman's. One of our artists, Joe Flasco, when you come to the show, he could tell you stories about Grossman's in '69. I'm not going to tell his story, though.
Well, there's
That's
lots
for
of
him to
stories
say.
that place. I've played there a couple times. It's
It's
a
wild.
Toronto institution, right?
Yeah, and
Basically.
Tony Louie is what a sweetheart. If you really want to meet a nice proprietor, Tony is just a doll.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he's got the zen about him.
All right. So it's only Saturday, and then you got to take the show down.
Take the show down, and then we work on trying to build up another one for the next few months.
All right.
We'll talk
Fantastic.
about that.
And the great thing about going to Grossman's is you can come in for the art show starting at noon, and then the music starts at 4:30, and people can hang out and
Yep.
see some great music.
And they have a patio outdoors as well if somebody wants to sit outside. And it's just it's a comfortable afternoon. You know, why sit around the house on a
Exactly.
Saturday afternoon when you can go out and see beautiful art?
And I think
Yeah.
the weather's going to be perfect this weekend too, right, Lisa? So
No thunderstorm as it was predicted a week ago,
Yeah.
so at least it's going to be not too hot, not too cold. The windows can be open in the place, and just let the light in.
yeah. Okay. All right, Lisa. So this is going to be great. This weekend, Saturday, and people can find out more at the website, which is studio-c-at-the-junction.
at-the-junction.ca.
Yeah.
Yep.
.ca. Okay. All right.
Great,
This
well,
is
that's
great.
great.
And then we'll talk about maybe doing something here, Lisa.
Yeah, get out there and support your local artists, Toronto.
Yeah.
It's going to do you a whole
All
lot
right.
of good.
So stay tuned. We got way more happening here
Yep.
for Liquid Lunch today on a
Sandra's
Thursday.
here too, so
Yeah, she just
I
got
don't
here.
need to do the sub thing. It makes me very nervous, but I love you all.
Hi. Okay, we'll be right back.
All right.
Take
Bye.
care, guys.